The 40-minute Elysian Boulevard entrance has players exploring between the streets and the rooftop. It might seem a bit like a maze at first, but the overall design is actually quite solid. Aside from the branching path on the ground level in the second half feeling a bit convoluted, I really love the design of the mid to upper sections. The main purpose of this level is to introduce two new types of shortcuts: treasure chest mechanics, side quests, the butterfly system, 3 new basic mobs, and 1 new elite enemy. Right at the start, environmental storytelling is used to introduce Gemini and the Black Rabbit Brotherhood. The Stargazer marks the starting point of the level. Visually, it naturally guides you to the right, making the large empty space strained ahead feel a bit pointless. On the left is the simple branching path. From up here, you can see the area below directly. There's a loop to grab, but it comes with higher risk. They didn't really need to make this a sunken area. Just keeping it flat and placing the mobs along the main road would have worked fine too. Walking just a bit forward, we hit the first fork in the road. The left is an obvious shortcut door, so the player has no choice but to head right. Since we'd be fighting through a dangerous-filled city in the previous level, this wide open street instantly screams suspicious. And in the back, you can spot a glowing treasure chest. A dog, already a grove, rushes out from your blind spot, followed by 3 more mobs waking up to pile on the pressure. The dog moves fast and engages the player first, leaving the 3 basic mobs trailing behind. Since the street is wide, the player has plenty of space to strategize how to handle the fight. Opening the Oni chest rewards you with a ring. Rings and amulets are crucial pieces of gear in the Soul Light, so it definitely deserves to be placed in a fancy chest like this. This shiny item bait leads us to the first ladder, allow us to start exploring the vertical space. Heading upstairs, we immediately hit with a mini corner ambush, followed by pressure from the ranged mob, while a melee mob rushes us, forcing the player to make snap decisions. Here's something new, a red light electronic device that guides the player to lower a shortcut ladder. That is a brand new type of shortcut mechanic. Right after opening the shortcut, the game threw an elite enemy at you, heavily reducing the penalty for dying here. After defeating the elite, the path guides us up to the 3rd floor, where a sneak attack is used to tweak the combat pacing a bit. Then, in this slightly safer area, a new enemy is introduced, the Charging Spear Mob. In these rooftop-to-rooftop sections, they almost always place ranged enemies to deal up the combat complexity. Here's the second fork in the road. The player has to make a choice, go up or go down. Actually, the path going down leads to a shortcut, while going up is a main progression route. If I just went straight up and died, that would be a massive setback. Heading up, we run into a new mob that throws explosives. The combat design for this rooftop is all about forcing you to fight other enemies while dealing with the constant interference of the bomb-throwing mob. After surviving this multi-mob brawl, we drop back down to the 2nd floor. Here, there are 2 paths again. One delves deeper into the alley, and the other goes back up, leading straight to the spot where that bomb thrower was standing. From that rooftop, you can drop right back onto the main path. I absolutely love this kind of design. It saves me from having to backtrack and cures my FOMO about missing items. Here, we face another new elite enemy, standing guard next to the newly introduced treasure chest, and just past it, we can spot the next Stargazer. After activating the Stargazer, there are 2 paths again. One leads to a merchant NPC and an elevator, so we have no choice but to take the other route. First up is a simple ambush setup, using a mob to bait the player forward. Then we hit yet another fork. One path draws back down to the street level, while the other continues exploring the 2nd floor. In a spacious area, the butterfly mechanic is introduced, luring the player toward the 2nd floor side path. Reaching a specific spot triggers NPC dialogue, enticing the player to explore downward and kick off a side quest. Down below is a wide open area littered with corpses. It screams danger, but also provides the player with a massive arena to fight in. Here we encounter the second alley enemy of this section. Even though this is an old friend, dying here comes with a hefty penalty. You have to run all the way back across the rooftop to get here. Back on the main path, a familiar dog leads the charge, followed by a new sword-wielding basic mob. After clearing the fight, you can unlock a shortcut. This shortcut actually connects back to the stair leading down from the butterfly side path. Since we got completely distracted by the butterfly earlier, but even if you didn't take the butterfly route, you still naturally end up at the side quest location. The wooden door getting busted open by the mob is another way to guiding the player to explore inside. The elevator here takes you straight up to the level's second stargazer. We continue exploring through the open shortcut door, where a new electric shock trap is introduced. Personally, I feel this trap is a bit redundant in this level. Aside from restricting your combat space, it doesn't serve much purpose. In the later level, they use it to protect ranged enemies, which I think is a much better design. Right after that, a dog baits the player into exploring a side path. This plot is long and exists purely to hide some loot. I think these unnecessarily long side paths are the main culprit behind why players feel this level is a maze. First, there are too many branches. Second, they are too long and barely connect back to the main path. That's a recipe for getting lost. Here you can pick up another side quest. Both of these side quests are highly immiscible. If you walk past them, they're gone. I actually find this hidden, non-mandatory quests embedded in the level progression really interesting. Discovering them gives a great sense of achievement and it adds a ton of immersion. Immediately after, we get a new type of enemy introduction, a dog busting through a window. Let's do a quick recap. Starting from the butterfly, there were 2 branching paths, and each path contained a side quest. The first branch eventually looped right into a second branch. From there, it's a strange shop to the end of the level. As you can see, taking the elevator down from the second stargazer drops you right at the level's finish line. But to unlock this shortcut, we have to make a massive loop, experiencing the entire level along the way. Finally, we face the boss of this area. Unlike the rampaging puppet, this is a hostile human, the Mad Donkey. He features a classic mix of fast and delayed attacks. His moveset is pretty straightforward and unpretentious, so he doesn't really spike the difficulty for the player. Once his weapon breaks, his combat rhythm shifts. It's the exactly same logic used in the first boss fight. Next up, per the usual routine, let's block out the original level first. Blocking out this level took a lot of time because there are so many vertical paths. Everything needs to be perfectly aligned. Otherwise, the ground level layout ends up widely out of sync with the original game. After recreating it, viewing it from the top-down perspective revealed that Elysian Boulevard can be divided into 3 subsections. The first and second sections are connected by a shortcut. The scale and complexity of the third section far exceed the first 2. It even gets its own stargazer, and both side quests are crammed into this final section. And now, it's time for me to play armchair developer and show off my redesign. First, a new minor tweaks to the original layout. Number 1. I feel the second elite enemy is just a bit too far from the starting stargazer. If you get clapped there, you have to run all the way across the rooftop again. Plus, the original map geometry has some unused space here, so I add a drop-down ladder, repurposing an otherwise boring side path into a functional shortcut. Number 2. I think those 2 little alleyways right before the boss door are way too convoluted. After building the blockout, I realized the 2 alleys are literally separated by a single wall. Why not just bust it open? This way, you naturally explore from one alley straight into the other. and exiting the second alley drops you right back at the entrance. No backtracking required, and no nagging feeling that you didn't clear the map properly. Finally, even though this mess is massive and pretty complex, I still want to try doing a drastic overhaul. I asked myself, if the level was only allowed to have exactly one stargazer, how would you design it? Remember that big, pointless empty space right in front of the stargazer at the start? What if we shift the entire second half of the level over here? That way, you could traverse all 3 subsections and reach the boss door using just a single stargazer. Do you guys have any other suggestion for tweaking this level? See you all next time!